This article presents historical records captured by a foreign photographer who lived in China for several years during the 1920s. The images depict the ancient city of Fengtian, including its gates, walls, and streets with centuries of history, and show the arrival of people in the city during the migration movement known as Chuang Guandong. The footage begins with the gate of the old city of Fengtian, one of the 8 original gates built during the Qing dynasty after Emperor Huang Taiji expanded the city of Shenyang. As the city developed, all of these original gates were gradually demolished starting in the 1930s, leaving nothing of them behind. One of the images shows Huaiyuan Gate, also known as the Great West Gate, in May 1925. At that time, the gate was already quite worn, and just 5 years later, it was demolished to widen the roads. Today, the original Great West Gate has been gone for nearly a century. This gate was a crucial passage for Qing dynasty officials entering and leaving the inner city, serving as an important entrance to the city. Interestingly, there was a popular belief that near this gate was a site where prisoners sentenced to death were executed. Because of this, the Great West Gate was also called the Gate of Hell, and many residents avoided passing through it, preferring to burn incense and make offerings outside, fearing what the gate represented. Under the ancient city walls, fruit vendors often gathered, and those entering or leaving the city would frequently buy melons to refresh themselves. The article also mentions the Shenyang Imperial Palace, which served as the imperial residence before the Qing dynasty entered China. The old Manchu Street, located in front of the palace, led directly to the Great West Gate, and was a route frequently used by nobles and emperors in the early Qing dynasty. Another highlight of the footage is the depiction of Chuang Guandong migrants who arrived in the city after long journeys. During the Republican era, the flow of people to the northeast increased, especially in the 1920s and 1930s, with many migrants coming from Shandong province. In 1924, a survey revealed that between 30% and 70% of workers in local factories were from Shandong. The footage also captures scenes of the harsh winter in Fengtian, with people wearing dog fur hats, a tradition popularly attributed to migrants from Shandong and Hebei. The article notes that, in contrast, the native Manchus of the region did not use dog fur products due to their traditions of respecting dogs. The filming continues, showing the bustling center of Fengtian, known as Zhongjie Street, which had been one of the busiest streets in the city since the Ming dynasty. By the end of the Qing dynasty, Zhongjie had become the commercial heart of Shenyang, with shops and traders from across the region. In the 1920s and 1930s, with more people arriving and the city's development, the number of commercial establishments on Zhongjie increased, and the street often became crowded. An important structure on Zhongjie Street was the Bell and Drum Pavilion, built during the reign of Huang Taiji. The pavilion, with a bell tower on the east side and a drum tower on the west, was used to signal the beginning and end of the day. However, this pavilion was demolished in 1930, and today, only the memory of its existence remains. The article concludes with a comparison between images captured in 1925 and others taken 4 years later. The most evident change is the increase in the number of automobiles passing through the gate, which had been repaired but was also more congested. The text also mentions Fuqing Gate, or Great East Gate, another of the 8 original gates of Shenyang, which was also demolished, leaving only its memory in the images captured at that time. Like many other landmarks that have disappeared, these images remain as the only silent witnesses of a past that no longer exists. Now let's watch the footage. China lends out.